friends, welcome back to my channel for another video. Today's video has been much requested. I just have not got around to record it, and then I felt like I wanted to wait for the anniversary date. I felt like I wanted to wait a year later. So I've been getting requests about 6 months ago, just one 3 months ago, 2 months ago, and then I want to be honest, about 3 this week. And the question was, how are you doing right now with your anxiety? What is going on with perimenopause in your life? And so that is what today's video is about, is what is going on with me 1 year later. And I will be honest, when perimenopause, in the word peri, means a curve, a change. You're going to go in another direction. And I felt this change coming about a year ago. So I'm going to take you back to February of 2017. And I just know that I was in a restaurant and I had an overwhelming feeling come over me, something that made my palms very sweaty. I would say my heart was palpitating. There was a lot of palpitations, but that wasn't the main thing that was really affecting me. I started to feel like I couldn't feel my legs. I couldn't get a deep breath, and my hearing was going in and out. It was a really like out of body experience. It felt very weird. I remember texting my son, who was in the area at the time, asking him if he could come and maybe pick me up. I didn't want to cause a scene because we were out with friends, and I could have just easily told my husband I'm going to slip out and everything would have been fine. I got up, went to the bathroom, and I told my closest friend that I was just feeling really off. And I came back, I ordered a Coke, and I do not drink pop. I just felt maybe my sugar's going down, like maybe I have sugar problems, maybe I'm having a heart attack, all these things. I mean, overwhelming. So I have this fear now, in my thought process. It passed. It actually passed in 20 minutes. And I thought, wow, that's weird. And I felt completely normal and went on with the night. Okay, so that's February. March, April. I want to say about April, I was in Costco. Now, this happened twice probably within the same month. So to make this video shorter, I'm just going to say the same feeling happened in Costco and Target. So probably a good thing, right? So, I didn't really want to go to Target anymore, and that's probably really good. And I feared going to Costco after this happened, but I was pushing my cart in Costco. Again, overall feeling that I was going to faint. My legs became very mushy, almost like they were ready to just drop off from under you. And you were like, oh my gosh, I have to get out of here. I do not want to faint in front of all of these people. And just all of these feelings again, almost like everything around you is just kind of like, you became very lightheaded, but not lightheaded like dizzy, okay? It's almost like everything was kind of coming in and out, over at the time. Now I can say this. It was a panic attack, and I never knew that. I mean, I have never, and I honestly, working in women's ministry and dealing with women and speaking at events and women emailing me all the time, so many women deal with anxiety attacks and panic attacks on a regular basis and are treated for that. Mine was all hormonal. I can say that now with all the tests that I have done and that had done. So my heart is for you ladies. Anyone struggling with anxiety and panic attacks, it's hard. It is so hard. During that time, I had social phobia. I had an emotional imbalance that was terrible. And when I say social phobia, you can ask any of my kids and my husband. I didn't want to go to the grocery store alone. I didn't want to drive my car. I had taken time off from clients that I work with. I work for a business called Home Management. So I get in and I clean and I design homes and I organize homes. You name it, I do it. I had to take a time off from that because I couldn't even drive to the location. So it was progressively getting worse after the Costco and Target. I was just having, I really can't even put a word to it. Just panic. Now that I know that, it was panic. So going back to after having these episodes in Costco, sometimes I actually left my cart and went out to my car and just sat there. And then I was beginning to realize that these pass. These actually pass. There would be times that I was driving and I knew if I had almonds or something I could just put in my mouth and just eat to take my mind off of what was happening, they would pass. So I realized that was key when I told the doctors what were going on, because in the last year, I've had a lung exam, because I thought, is there something wrong with my lungs? I could not get a deep breath at all. That was probably my number one symptom in perimenopause. Was my anxiety was so bad that I was short of breath. I could not breathe at all. I mean, I had counseling done on how to get my breathing techniques done. And because my anxiety was so out of control, I really couldn't even focus on getting the breathing techniques done. So if yours is at a place where you can gain control, breathing techniques are huge. You will find them all over YouTube. That was just, I'm thankful. I'm thankful. I could do so many shout outs. Sue is one of them. I love you, my Sue. She really would come over and sit with me and help me breathe and help me visualize and take my mind for 40 seconds out of this space and try to visualize different things. So I had actually apps on my phone how to visualize and take myself out of the anxiety attack, and they were working. So I was like, wow, this must not be lung related. But because I am such an advocate for my body, I wanted to try everything. So I went ahead and had my lungs tested. They were perfect. I went and had my heart, everything in my heart tested, and I had a stress test done. My blood pressure. Now, during perimenopause, it is very common for your blood pressure to fluctuate. And so mine was doing that, a little bit. And I'm a runner. And that was probably the first thing that I noticed was I was getting anxiety attacks a mile in my run. Because I was going away from the home a little bit, then running and becoming short of breath, that whole feeling brought on an anxiety attack because of the feeling of feeling short of breath from anxiety. If that even makes sense, that's how anxiety works. It's like one thing can trigger another and then it snowballs. And I had a hard time running for about a good year. I was afraid to go to the gym. I just had fear that I was going to faint, and it wasn't going to happen. It was just trying to get the anxiety. So therefore I gained, yes, I'm not proud of it, but I gained a good 15 pounds because my body type needs to be active every single day. I need to be running. I got to get my 4 miles in. I know what I need to do in order to eat the way I want, cook the way I want. And that just wasn't, I had to let some things go. And the doctor told me that it's going to be okay. So yeah, I watched what I ate and stuff, but I had a hard time running or doing any physical activity because I was in fear of feeling short of breath. So with all of that, I want you to know that I went and had everything checked out. Physical, and then I had my OBGYN, and then of course I have a health doctor. I have a biomedical doctor that I see in Ann Arbor. So my blood was taken, physical and biomedical. I had all my blood work done. And both doctors, both tests came back with my estrogen and my progesterone being completely out of whack. I had such a drop in progesterone. They were so surprised that I wasn't really flipping out. My emotional imbalance just went. And during that time, my periods were getting extremely heavy, and that was really odd. And I was feeling dizzy and nauseous during my menstrual cycle, which that usually does not happen. So here's what happened. After all the tests were done, this is what it ended up working for me. And I'm going to stress this because I'm sharing this video because so many of you have messaged in, have emailed me, and you have actually shared your emotional state with me. And I hear you. I hear you. My heart went out. I would stop after the emails and I would say a prayer for each individual lady that was in a place of even feeling suicidal. Your emotions during perimenopause can be extremely debilitating. They can really play with your mind. And I'm a Christian woman, and I will say that I stayed in God's word during this time. And I repeated a verse back. I will leave the verse right here so you can write it down if you're going through this struggle. But God promises us that we will have a sound mind in Him. So I would constantly write this verse down right here. And I would tell myself that it's a promise from God. And I believe God would nudge me to check certain things out in my life, make doctor's appointments, things that brought about a sound mind. So you need to be an advocate. You cannot let perimenopause or menopause or any emotional disability win over you. There are things out there, and everything is different for every woman. I have to stress that. Some women would say to me, Because in the very beginning, the video's right here, my first one, I'll share all the naturals that I was on. I was on ashwagandha, I was on GABA receptors, calm. I was on so much natural to try to get myself to a place of feeling peaceful and of a sound mind. And it was working for the most part, but it was not all me. Okay, again, I sacrificed the gym, running, going places. I'll never forget last year, one of the first things that I did was our church had an outside event in the park. We had music in the park. And just the thought of being around all those people, the music, brought on an anxiety before I left. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to take extra ashwagandha. I'm going to take this. I'm going to take my water. I would have bags. My husband called me the bag lady. I would have all these things with me to help me feel comfortable. And I did not mind telling people what I was going through at that time because I was a little different. I'm a very social person, outgoing. I'm a public speaker. I was hindered from all of that. And I knew that was not what God had for me. So for a while there, I struggled. My prayer life would be, God, why? What? How do I handle this? How do I get through this? And I was just thankful for feeling good that day if I didn't have any issues breathing. And there were some days I just literally in the summer laid on the couch and watched LMN movies. It felt better to keep my body still. Well, I knew by the end of the summer I couldn't continue to live this way. This was not me. Ask my family. I barely went to our lake house. Heat outside would trigger me. So I couldn't be in the heat, and I loved to lay in the sun and be out in the sun and garden. All of that triggered me. I did not walk around my lake like I usually will in the summertime. That would trigger me. So I had, let's just put, a very boring summer, and I was boring for my family. And that again is not how God created us to live. So I had this thing in my mind. Now here goes the difference. Here's really where the change came. I struggled with in my mind thinking, well, if I had enough faith, I will get better. So I will just continue to pray and use all the medicine that I can, all the naturals, and I will win, even if I have to stay like this for 2 to 3 years. Well, I went to my OBGYN. I have the best OBGYN doctor because in there we have doctors that take care of, all your serious medical and all your exams. But then we also have a nurse. And that nurse practitioner is somebody that will walk you through and hold your hand through every step of menopause. And I needed that. I needed that type of OBGYN office at this time. The office I was going to catered more toward pregnancies. And that's fine. But, everybody's perimenopause symptoms are different. Some women go into serious depression. Some go into anxiety and panic attacks to the highest level possible, which was me. And my nurse will even say, you have extreme panic attacks going on and we have to get those under control. And so with her, talking to her, she said, there is nothing wrong. She gave me a regimen. I have all these bottles in front of me. I'm going to show you what I'm on now. But she said, there's nothing wrong with taking something to help you. And I thought, well, what do you mean? And she said, have you ever tried Lexapro or anything like that? And I thought, I am one, and you can ask my husband, I fear addiction of any type. So I am very careful about any meds. If I have any type of little surgery done or any type of anything, I'm okay on ibuprofen, maybe 400 milligrams, but at 800, you're really pushing it with me. Like that's, I'm very careful. So when she suggested that right away, I thought, no. And she goes, you need to try this. I want to give you Lexapro 10 milligrams. And I said, ooh, can I cut it in half and only take 5, please? Or 5 every other day? And she's like, that's like nothing, but okay, but you really need to take the 10. There are women on 30 and 40 and 50. And I said, no. So I started off with Lexapro, 5 milligrams every other day. And that worked. I noticed the difference immediately when I took a half of the 10. And I thought, why did I wait this long? I noticed it immediately. And I just felt so much calmer. My life was starting to come back. I'm like, I think I'm going to go on the boat. I don't think I'll have fear out on the water. I think I'm going to go to the grocery store by myself. And I was able to do this. And I did not feel guilty. I felt like I could communicate with God. Like things were just coming back. And I stayed on my 5 milligrams and about 6, so that would be I started this probably right around September is when I went, because I tried all my naturals when I had my breakdown in June. So June, July, August, September is when I really thought I've got to try something. And so September, I went on the 5 milligrams, and that lasted all the way until about almost the new year. And I was getting ready to go to Florida, and I was having mini breakthroughs during my cycle. I'm a calendar and journal nerd. For those that follow me, you'll know that by watching all my journal and planner videos. But I plan everything, and I journal everything. So I was journaling my cycle. I was journaling when I was starting to feel breakthroughs of these panic attacks again. I thought, wow. I went in and she said, go up to 10 and take it every day. I'm telling you, this is a jelly bean for most women. A jelly bean. I was like, that phrase. And my doctor came in, well-known doctor. His kids are going to Hope College. He's a Christian. And he said, my wife takes it, and it's her happy jelly bean every single day during menopause, was during menopause. And he goes, and after you're through this, you'll go off. I am now on Lexapro, 10 milligrams every single day, and I feel 100% normal. And I thank God for doctors and things like this. Am I careful? Absolutely. I have been given Xanax, I have been given Ativan, all of those things if I'm having a bad day. Me personally, never filled the prescription. Never. This is just a personal thing. Don't judge me or look at yourself and go, oh, no. If you have your Xanax and your Ativan under control, I have nothing else to say. And that means used when needed. And many women need to do that. I have not went through a major loss in my family yet. I have not grieved somebody yet. I don't know where God will bring me during that time. So I'm not judging any of that. I'm saying for right now, I really wanted to try the least of what I could do and really still feel myself and get myself under control. For such a time as this right now, in the middle of my change, I'm on 10 milligrams of Lexapro. No, I did not gain weight. I'm getting that under control, and it has not been a factor of gaining weight. My sex life has not changed. Everything is good because people are afraid of all the side effects. I think the more you have, the more that you're on, and the different meds that you're on will cause that. For me, I have not had an issue. It's actually so gentle and it's beautiful. It's given me that peace of mind. And I know that God's in this with me, and he's helping me through. The other things that I do, I take iron every single day, and that is because my menstrual cycle is still very, very heavy, and I'm getting 2 a month now, sometimes 3. Take my Stress B complex every single day. I take one of these. I also have vitamin B liquid drops, and I'll rotate those and put my liquid drops in my protein shakes in the morning because they're just more potent. I don't take them every day because the vitamin B tends to give me more energy, and I'm one that's already energetic, so I need to be careful. It just depends. Once in a while, I'll put it in. But otherwise, I just take the pill every single day. D3 is huge. I'm not going to do a long video on D right now, but women, you need this. D is very important for us, and so I should do a whole video on this, but for now, look it up. But 2,000 IUs I take, the high one. So definitely a D3 person. And then of course magnesium. Take one of these right before I go to bed, 250 milligrams. And it also helps nerve, muscle, and heart function. So those are the supplements I'm taking. I'm also drinking, and I'm huge on this. I actually have a tracker. I drink 60 to 80 ounces of water, some days 100 ounces of water a day. Water is huge. Water is huge, ladies, just for your system at this time. It's huge for your skin. So I'm just pushing the water. I think it's important. But otherwise, I feel like I have my issues with perimenopause kind of on track right now. And I'm praising God today that they're on track. And so I'm hoping that this helped you. I'm hoping it's a blessing to my first series of perimenopause. I think I'm going to create a series of videos for perimenopause and put one up a month on just things that I'm doing because there's so much more to it. So I haven't hit night sweats or anything like that. I'm sure that's in another phase. Like my doctor said, that'll be kind of like phase 2 for me. Phase 1 of perimenopause brings on anxiety, panic attacks, shortness of breath. You'll just notice your emotions maybe being, you're just a little bit overwhelmed by things that were really easy for you before, a little moody, those are things you need to watch for. And I would highly recommend just sitting down and talking to somebody. It's okay to talk to somebody. Find what works for you. Study your body. Be your own advocate. It's so, so important. The other thing that I do now, and I'm going to end here, is you notice my swing chair in the back. And my swing chair is the place that I will end my evening and the place that I start my morning. And if I just need to sit and shut my eyes during the day, I will go ahead and just have a little swing in there. That's just my mama's quiet time and mama's little cocoon. Make time for you. Make time for you to just shut your eyes, maybe meditate on God's word, meditate on a thought, just repeat some praises back to God, repeat some thankful moments back to Him, and it really replenishes you. And God's there to show you. He's there to show you your next step. He's there to let you know, maybe through a doctor or the wisdom of somebody else, what's best for you. So do not compare yourself to other women. We can go trying all of that and just get so confused. Just focus on you, spend some time with God, and He'll lead you in the place that you need to go. So leave me comments below. Let me know what's working for you. And I'm going to start, like I said, a whole area of perimenopause. What do you want to hear in regards to perimenopause? Where are you? How can we kind of just hang out together and create this community? So have an awesome day, and I love you ladies.